creates a culture of fear. Here, the union people have is they're allowed to do this. Why aren't they supporting some incumbent position? I mean, in this case, it's really against the county, against the mayor's office, the executive branch. Corporation Counsel Lincoln Ishida is not just an attorney for the state. I think he's also should be accountable here. He is also a member of the mayor's cabinet. Um, and I don't mean this as something anti any particular government official or anti unions. I've been very supportive of the unions and their good works as a collective voice for the people, testified on their behalf when the state, when the Lingle was manipulating union issues in terms of furloughs versus firing them. So I feel strongly about this. I feel been harmed by this, and I hope that you take this seriously and realize how important your decision is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Up next we have Mr. Dan Cole speaking on agenda items 5A, 6A, 7A, 7B, 7C. Mr. Cole, you have the floor.
Good morning, board members. I'm sure you're as pleased to have me in front of you as I am to be here. I speak on all agenda items as they're all related. However, I will now call your attention to the fact that I have been coming before this board to expose public corruption, deprivation of rights under the color of law, and conspiracy against rights. I now wish to present a letter dated September the 12th, signed by Neil Abercrombie, Governor, State of Hawaii, from the Executive Chambers, thanking me for bringing to the attention of the governor and the state racketeering, influence, corrupt organization act violations of this board and of the government of the County of Hawaii. This board, including Chairman Dill, has participated in criminal violations of the Federal RICO Act, to include extortion, violation of Criminal Title 18 United States Code, tampering with a victim, witness, or informant, Title 18 United States Code, retaliation against a victim, witness, or informant. I wish to point out the irony of my very appearance here. I call attention to item 5A of communications. It states 090412 memorandum opinion by the Office of Information Practices regarding, quote, sunshine law complaints about agendas and executive meetings, end quote. Long I've been bringing before this board since November of 2008. The fact that the board, after I brought attention of public corruption, racketeering activity, no longer prints or publishes the names of individuals involved, or the names or the circumstances of the violations until after such violations have been made public. However, all statements from the public are before any agenda items, so therefore the public has no information and can have no information by the rules of procedure of the Board of Ethics, which are effective by law of the Hawaii County Charter, to have informed speech. Denial of informed speech is implicit as a violation of the state and federal constitution to freedom of speech. I had no idea, by reading the agenda that was sent to me, that the communication in reference here was in fact about me. So here we have a situation, a government body here is conducting business in secret without the knowledge of the very people. So how many other people have been deprived of the privilege? How many secret letters of extortion like Lincoln Ishida sent to John Dill here would influence this board to take no action are there out there? I understand, yes, thank you. I have signed up for all these meetings, or all these agenda items, as they're all related. We go on to the new business petition item. Initial review of petition a county officer has been very selective, disseminating public information and showed preferential treatment. Really? I mean, come on now. You people, this board has deprived citizens of their constitutional rights and ability to petition the government. Judge Hendrick there covered up the fact and accessory after the fact to bank fraud, as this board did, when he couldn't hear a petition against Finance Director Nancy Crawford because why? Oh, he was on her bowling team and didn't want to jeopardize his position. David Hayokalani, he couldn't hear a complaint against Jay Kimura, Lincoln Ishida, or others that would have exposed public corruption and their conspiracy and deprivation of rights. Why? Oh, they were personal friends. Glenn over here, Aishama, same thing, personal friends. Bernard Palms, oh, friends and associations. That's how it's done, people. When men of good faith and people of good faith do no action is when tyranny starts in our government. We have a situation here where Dominic Gong is before you because of a anonymous complaint. Maybe if I had filed anonymous complaints, I would have been heard. But where's Dominic Gong now? When I brought to his attention and read into the records of the county council meeting the tape recordings of the Hawaii County Police Department with the knowledge of Police Chiefs Mahuna and Kobojiri depriving and denying a person to file a police complaint that would have exposed public corruption. That is called deprivation of rights under the color of law, conspiracy against rights of the First Amendment of the federal Constitution to petition the government and redress a grievance. Why is Dominic Gong not here now, or why are none of you as sworn officials, by the oath you took, by the fact that your actions have the effect of law, are authorities under the United States, and therefore you are subject to the criminal penalties and punishments of the Federal RICO Acts? I'd just like to sum up my entire structure before the county in 10 years here, which will explain my actions, and unfortunately I have some grim predictions to make. All of my involvement in government here derived from 2001, where the Hawaii County, under the contract of Mayor Kim, used 500 dump trucks of flood debris material from a federally funded job called P3535 to build illegal and unauthorized stream diversion works for the protection of private property and the enhancement of real estate values. That's a violation of state and federal law, as the Waikea Stream and other streams flows into navigational waterways of the United States. The Hawaii County Police Department refused to allow me to file a complaint, Officer Jason Grones. Why? Because he didn't think that people would like it. He went to the Hawaii County Prosecutor's Office, Mitch Roth. Mitch Roth, in silent direction, instructed the Hawaii County Police Department to take no action, and therefore I was deprived of my constitutional rights. As we went on and I fought this and I fought this, I tried to bring to the attention of the government, of our elected officials, and of the people the severe danger and peril they are placed in when they alter the streams. Everybody stood by and did nothing. In 2008, we had an $80 million flood with a direct result of the alterations of the Waikea Stream above Delima Street. Again, I brought this to the attention of the Army Corps of Engineers. They had all these flood plans. What happened to the $80 million that was used in all these studies? And now Derek Chow of the Army Corps of Engineers, American Oil, say, oh, they can no longer do the flood protection because it requires an act of Congress. Yes, it does. The 1877 Harbors and Rivers Act of the Secretary of War. So why would the Hawaii County Police Department not allow a complaint to be filed in 2001 and 2004 that would have prevented this? What we're going to have here now is people are going to die. I'm flat out saying it. In Third Circuit Court, in the court of Judge Hara, is an order of the court waiting for the signature of God to enact it, where the state and county will deprive people of life and property without due process. The flooding events that are going to occur and are occurring that have resulted from the alteration of the stream beds in Hilo, Hawaii in 2000 and 2001 will result in the breach and overflow of stream banks and waterways, resulting in death and injury, which will bankrupt the county of Hawaii, as the personal injury involved and the suits ensuing will make the county liable for 100%. I bring this information before you. The governor of Hawaii is now involved and has knowledge of the RICO Act. His board is in violation of the federal RICO Act and accessory after the fact. May you all sleep well. And may the conscience of the death and the injury of people be on you forever.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cole.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Up next, we have Larry Gehring, speaking on item 7A, 7B, and 7C. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Ethics Board, and my name is Larry Gehring, Hilo, and I want to thank you for all the hard work and diligent work you do. It's not an easy task that you have, and I also want to thank the testifiers who have come forward. They're kind of the eyes and ears of the community. 7A, County Elections Office. The clerk, Ms. Kawaguchi, is very competent. She knows how to get things done. She can get things done, and it would have been a very easy task for her to run a very good election if the poor county union crybaby hadn't laid down on the job. But then for Mr. Yagon to think that he is so knowledgeable that he can step in there and micromanage that department is ridiculous. If there's any way he can be censored, or if he's proven guilty of that allegation, if he can be censored or fined or whatever, that should happen. 7B, Mr. Zendo Kern. I understand from what I read in the paper that this was dismissed, but just as a side note for anybody becoming a commission member or a board member or whatever, please recuse yourself from any impropriety or from any voting on any matter that might implicate you in some impropriety. And in this media day that we live in, a lot of people are watching. So if you're going to be voting on something that might get you in hot water, don't do it. 7C on the union fiasco. Where do they get this authority that they can schedule a meeting on workers' time and then either demand that they attend it or the county allows them to attend it? Who has oversight of this situation? You know, the county legally terminated 3 employees back in January. Fast forward, the union, from what I understand, reading it in the paper, the union had the authority to reinstate that union worker. Where do they get this authority from? At the very least, on this particular meeting fiasco, the union should reimburse the county for the money, for the monetary loss that the workers generated, or the members should have their paychecks reduced, those who attended. And it says they were allowed to attend it. I wonder if they were allowed or required. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have RJ. Good morning, RJ. You wish to speak on all the items?
Yes, Chair, and I will make my transition, hopefully before that buzzer.
Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you. I am very pleased to see the communication from OIP. I want to thank Sativa Sultan for having made the call. We became concerned. We have many issues with OIP in terms of how they respond to things. What am I talking about? The agenda. I don't know about the executive session, but we have had a complaint into the OIP about agendizing and not being able to understand what's on the agenda. One of them specifically as to the ethics of the building code. This made the paper. I am one of the people who put in the complaint. to agendize 5 items under one agenda and not to describe it, especially in something as important as penal codes and criminal things that might happen for people that do things wrong in the building code, it needed to be described. That's why that meeting that day was so out of hand to the point where the chair, Pelago, he called for the question using parliamentary procedure. One of the reasons why I believe that OIP has put this down now is because we've been agitating them. They are behind in a lot of things, and they're 20. Our case is 20 behind. But this issue of agenda and transparency and the ethics of how the county clerk and the county chair interact, I believe that we have to stop this. The county clerk is the personal secretary of the chair, that they can be in cahoots and do as they please and upset all tradition and procedures and to undermine people's feelings about what they do in their job because they're playing poisonous politics, that the West Side put Dominic in that chair to do exactly what he did, that they want to control this island so bad that they don't want to communicate with the very people who live here and just do as they please. And what is today? Today is a change day. Today is, I'm glad, Chair, that you recused yourself on this issue. Shows that you have the wisdom to at least know what your responsibility is to this community. And if there is anything, I got told you last time, and I hear Lincoln say, everybody's saying, this is wake up time. I'm not piling on. I'm gonna stay. And if there is a question you'd like to ask me, I'm staying. On to the business of the Board of Ethics. Oh, please, and while you're at it, please allow us to develop the scope along with you. Give us a way in which to communicate with you. I tried to call court counsel to talk to you, but you don't call me back. I'm not complaining, you busy, and you're going to be busy in the next couple of weeks because the complaints are going to come fast and furious until you fix this charter, till you fix this ethic code, and you fix this county. I don't need to say anything else about this. You know there's something going on here, and I hope that you'll dedicate your reputations and your ability to set this ship straight to get to the bottom of it. Take your time. We'll come. I'll spend the gas money. I'll be here to watch you deliberate over this because we're not going to have this in 2013. Corporation counsel saying to people, it's legal, but is it ethical? It's legal, but is it moral? We need this in this government. Okay, petition for the Windward Planning. I'm going to say this. I've been waiting for the youth to step up and take charge. I've already spoken to Zendo about this. I don't think you have dismissed this. What I'd like to do is read into the record a portion of what sounds like a political campaign speech by a planning commissioner at a meeting of over 80 people in a community that he does not know, representing a personal friend that he's known since 19 years of age and participating in the program. How could you not see a conflict? How could you not see appearance? And that's what ethics is about. It is the higher ground. It's not minting words and saying, well, you can go this side, and you say, well, kind of technically. No. It's time for you to assure confidence not only in the voters, but in the constituents that then sit in these seats and direct us and make us. Kern, thank you. Okay, is there any other discussion? I'll give my 2 cents. What way is that for anybody to talk? This is a big deal. You better believe it is because there's a lot of votes in the 5th District that are riding on this Zendo. And had you revoked that, like how many people you think would have supported you? Or how many people would have supported you and stood up? I don't know, because he had an open whatever. I hope you don't dismiss this. I hope, because the only thing I applaud Senator Kern for is not wanting to go into executive commission to study this. And I'll stick around for this one too, because I took the heat in the newspaper. And if the individual who did make this complaint is too cowardly to stand up here and know that it can protect you and that the law can protect you, then I will. So I'll be sitting over here and you can ask me anything about May 3rd, 2012. Moving on, let's turn the page. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me applaud the new business. As a journalist, as a videographer, I know the power of the press. I don't understand what the Tribune and the West Hawaii Tribune is doing, but I believe that they should be before you too, because I think it's unethical to report certain stories on one side and certain stories on another side. Then all of a sudden there's another election, and all of a sudden people on this side are reading about people they don't know on this side and this side, this side. Poisonous politics being played by the Tribune. I would like to see every story in every newspaper so that the island doesn't have this peekaboo, look who's doing wrong now. I just need for there to be continuity in the press and for you to treat us all equally. And I'm going to tell you something, Tribune, we're going to eclipse you in your reporting because the camera does not lie. But the Tribune does, and it obfuscates often. And I don't know, but I would not call these people investigative reporters. I would just call them lackeys, flackies for Stephen Media, Arkansas, Bill Clinton, coming over here to control this island. I'm sick of you. I hope you get yours. And I hope that Tiffany Hunt will be exonerated and given the respect that she needs. Amen to that. All right, now we're going to move on to the last thing in this thing. It's an open-ended thing. Okay, you don't got nothing to cover it. I know, Renee, you smart. I know you already got it covered, just like the resolution for Dominic and Jermaine. I know that I've read enough to know what your job is. And again, I got no dog in this one, but I can see how dirty it is. Because I'll tell you something right now, and I'm going to make it a pattern of public record. There's something that's going to come before you that's even more silly than, not silly, I won't say that. I will say this, that this weekend at the World Peace Festival, a county employee, I don't care if she's on time, off time, used an event to promote her boss in an election year. Appearance is everything. Ethics is all about evoking trust. That we have trust in you to do what you do, which is to protect us from the greedy parasite who would try to engineer a takeover of this island. And I hope that Angel Pelago and all of his cronies will get theirs when it finally comes to task. Because this is a vindication for my boss, Emily Nioli, who had to take this crap on both sides of the island. And she was a good woman. Well, now you really got something. It ain't no pencil being thrown across the room. And look around how many people really care. They're here, the ones that care. Please don't waste our time. Get busy and do what you need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Sativa.
Oh, my turn.
You wanted to speak on all the issues?
Yes, sir. I'm just gonna grab my notes over here.
We have 5 items on the agenda. Good morning, you have the
Okay,
floor.
good morning, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. Okay, I'd like to speak on the first one, Communication A put out by the OIP. I believe that this was part of the building code complaint that was made. What happened when they were passing the building code is the clerk, the county clerk, Jermaine Kawauchi, took 5 agenda items. What was supposed to happen is they were supposed to put and just clearly describe each agenda item. Number 1, number 2, what it was about, so that people who come in can speak on each agenda. What she did was she took 5 communications and put them in 1 communication. So that number 1, the people only had 3 minutes to speak on what they should have had more time to speak on. And number 2, she didn't describe any of the communications. So like RJ said, some of the communications were very serious. You could go to jail for a year for putting a solar panel on your house. There were some very important communications that didn't get discussed. So this is our complaint at the OIP, but unfortunately, there are so many procedures that are in question that our complaint is number 20. And so we have to wait, for maybe years for our complaint to be heard. But at least they put this communication on, which is to say, we're having a problem with the agendas. People are playing, well, not people, because it's the purview of the county clerk. She's playing politics with the agenda. And this was back in February. And had the OIP had the staff to deal with our issue back in February, the clerk would have come into the spotlight then, because she's costing us money at the OIP because she didn't agendize it correctly, the building code. But because they were busy, they can't deal with our case, and it really didn't get picked up in the media, and then she went on to make a bigger mess with the elections. So that's all, I guess, all I have to say on the communications. Thank you. The second one would be 6A. And I want to say that, the alternative press has come a long way. Video cameras and the internet, blogs have helped us move into a new territory when it comes to press. Press is no longer the reporter standing in front of the camera that gets played on NBC. Press is every citizen that has a video camera and an editing system, or every citizen that can write and make a blog. These are the new press of the 21st century. And so our rules and our ideas about this have to change. And the alternative press has to be included in the conversation. And I think one of the reasons they do ignore us is because we really press. See, the traditional press, they've stopped pressing, and theirs is very political now. But the alternative press, we press, and they don't like that. So we don't get invited. And so I think it's a fabulous, I think this is fabulous. This petition has come forth by a journalist in the community who's considered alternative press, although, who's to say, but I think this is a fabulous petition, and I hope you act on that in an appropriate way. Okay, that's all I have to say on that. And then on unfinished business, number 7A, what I want to say is I watched the video of Dominic Egan's performance in front of the ethics committee. I was not surprised because I, again, have been dealing with him for a long time. To me, it's very childish to, when you get in trouble for something, to say, oh, well, don't look at me, look at my brother, look what he did. And what I also want to say about that is, if he knew that there was something that was improper that was done a year and a half before, you don't hold on to it. It's improper for you to hold on to it. You need to come right out and say it right then and there. Don't hold on to it and try to use it against somebody. So I think that was absolutely terrible behavior. And when somebody acts so bad, you have to wonder, what are they covering up? Okay, that's all I have to say on that. Now I'm going to go to 7B. And in this petition, I'm directly affected by this. I live in CU Estates. Many of us were concerned with Zendo's relationship with Graham Ellis, who runs the Belly Acres. The reason we're concerned is we're a small subdivision, and we have Kalani Haunua on one side. They play a lot of music. We have Belly Acres on the other side. They like to have night entertainments. So my subdivision was caught because they did this for a year and a half without anybody, without permits. Every Friday and Saturday night, you'd hear African rhythms coming from Kalani Haunua, and you'd hear jazz coming from the Belly Acres. And our poor subdivision was caught having to listen to two bands for hours. So when this came up and we saw that Zendo was very connected to Graham, our community was concerned, because we really, and anybody who lives there, you have to put up with one entertainment complex, but do you have to get caught in the middle of two? So although I love Space Market and I support the school, I don't support the night entertainment. So I came that day to express myself as someone who was directly affected. What I saw was, of course, yes, the head of the Planning Commission was using it as a political rally, and he was already biased from the very beginning. Of course, if you think about, would he have been elected had he told Space, no, I'm revoking your license? We don't want them to revoke Space license, but what we wanted to do was we wanted it clarified, because the whole issue was about a night event. Our subdivision doesn't want the night events. So what I'm going to say about this is that, in light of the fact that we don't have any laws right now that say the minute you decide to run for a political office, you must resign your commission. Because you cannot do what Zendo did, which was to use his commission as the head of the Planning Commission to garner votes that day. And as proof, his signs went up. Zendo Curran went on both sides of the market the day after the decision, right after he did what he did on May 3rd. And you saw big Zendo current signs go up in the entranceway of Space Market. So of course he used his position. Many people would. Many people wouldn't, but many people would. And so it needs to be a law that says you cannot act as a head. He's still acting as head of commission, giving out favors. We understand that. You got to resign your commission when you're running for politics because the two get very muddy. And that was a fabulous example that day of how it got muddied. And I also want to say, he said in the beginning that people had asked him to recruit himself, but he went and sought corporate counsel advice. To me, if you had to seek advice, you were already questioning it. I just want to add, when in doubt, throw it out. So if you were already questioning it, you should have acted appropriately. But that's okay. I still expect great things from Zendo, and I hope he learns from this. Okay, so then, I guess, let's see. The ethics and the county employees and mixing politics with county employees. I also was at the Peace Festival, and as a journalist, I did not want to shoot the MC because she was wearing a Billy Kenoy t-shirt. And when a vendor complained and said, hey, look, I don't want to have to look at your t-shirt all day, this is a county event, all she did was take off her county employee badge, which she had been wearing, turn it around, and continue to wear the shirt for the rest of the day. The event was billed as a non-political event, and yet, and it wasn't even mentioned that the mayor was going to speak there, but he did speak there. The reason we have to separate these is that was like $20,000 of taxpayers' money that went into that event, and they used it as a political fest. And I believe that Billy Kenoy should have to pay for the Peace Festival since he used it to play politics. And he used his MC, who was a county employee, to be the MC, to wear his t-shirt with her badge. I'm not going to mention her name because I have a lot of respect for the family, but I'm just going to say that this kind of stuff is happening every day. When I talked to the Tribune reporter about it yesterday, he told me it's happening all over the island. So we're out of control with our ethics, and I appreciate this day because this is everything I've been dealing with for a long time, and these are not petty issues. These are very important issues. Thank you for your time. Aloha.
All right, thank you very much. Next we have Volk.
All right.
You say here communication 58. I am unsure which.
Yeah, well,
communication
that nice man in the back, I want to talk on all of them, please. Want me to write that on that piece of paper?
We have 5 agenda items, so.
All 5,
we have
please.
15
Okay.
minutes.
Hello, aloha. My name is Hope Sermel. I chose to be a nonpartisan candidate to run for Faye Hanohano's job since she's not doing it. The people behind me are some of my constituents in the future, if God lets me have this job. You folks took an oath, just as RJ said. You have to uphold that oath and have a little compassion for the people who are sitting in this room giving full testimony of what's going on. I come from Ohio, Florida, California, Arizona, Alaska, Missouri, and now I'm a Hawaii citizen running for office. I was denied the right by the Supreme Court to have a recount because I didn't put the right verbiage in. So I have an attorney now, and my attorney has given all the information to the Ombudsman, the Attorney General, Brian Schatz, our Lieutenant Governor, as well as Neil Abercrombie, the Office of Elections in Pearl City, Scott Nagel, and Jamay over there, who I believe, in my own personal opinion, this is my own personal opinion, should be fired for what she's done. Her father took an election box up the Mililiti Hill and brought it down to the Mililiti voters late. Her own father. She denied it. I have testimony ready to go. So, back to the Board of Ethics of the County of Hawaii. Dominic Yagong had a conflict of interest. He should have recused himself as being chairman of the Hawaii County Council because he was responsible for the elections. That was complete annihilation of federal and Hawaii state rights. 5 people in Pahoa alone, where I come from, were denied the right to vote. They were turned away. One man was denied the right to vote in Pahoa. They sent him to Kona, and when he put his voting ballot into the box, the lady said, "It probably won't count." I purposely myself voted for myself, of course, I'm nonpartisan, as well as I have the right to vote for the people I want to go represent me in Washington. Therefore, my ballot for myself was blank. They took it away. They don't even have the guts to show me that ballot because they know they're wrong. I know I was wrong, but I made a point. Nonpartisanship is growing in America. I don't know if you folks know that, but people are sick of the big parties. Dominic is a nonpartisan county council person for his district and also the chairman. He should recuse himself of everything, and where is he? I've asked them to go get him. I live in Kalapana. I voted for Zendo, but of course my ballot didn't count, so what the heck, you know? New business. No, I'm not done.
Just indicating a few minutes for
Okay. There it is, right there. Unfinished business. Further discussion on a letter from August 31st to the board. State Office of Elections, alleging that Council Chair Dominic may be inappropriately involved in the operations of the Hawaii County Elections Office. Therefore, I challenge him to tell me what I just told you is wrong. I challenge him. And he doesn't even have the guts to come here today. They're in a meeting with Sharon and the people of the state of Hawaii who are coming here to run this election. That's pathetic. That is a waste of our money, county money. I'm sorry, folks. This would not happen in Ohio, California, for sure not Arizona. Those are cowboys. They'll kill you. Petition number 2012-2. Zendo, bad boy, you should recuse yourself. Come on. And don't go into an executive meeting without the public knowing. That's a violation of a federal law called the Sunshine Law, right? We all know about the Sunshine Law. That's a federal law. As well as I thought Hawaii was still in America, the United States. Maybe we're not. These documents that I want to give to you people, but I didn't have time to make a copy, are petitions that my constituents want me back on the ballot. If I'm not back on the ballot because of this botched up county elections, we're going to take this to the feds, and I mean it with all my heart. And my attorney's ready to go. Back of the page. David Bach told me over the phone, and I will make this public finally, and I mean it with my heart, in the name of Jesus Christ. Petition number 2012-03, informal hearing of a petition alleging violations of Section 2-83 of the Ethics Code when county employees are allowed to attend union meetings on county time in which political campaigning takes place. That used to happen in Ohio, and they all got caught, and they all got fired. They lost their jobs. When Jemaine put that lady on executive leave or whatever you call it, I don't remember right now, maybe she should have been running the elections. And Dominic Yagong is completely responsible being the chairman of this county council. And he should recuse himself and quit his job right now. This has got to stop. David Bach told me over the phone, oh, Hope, your campaign isn't important enough. I said, David, I've been waiting. Everybody else has been in the paper. Why not me? It's not important enough. He broke my heart. He broke my heart. They've never gotten back to me. So I will be suing the Trib Herald for malfeasance. Shall I go on? It's better. It's better because just as he had said, David Bach and Stevens Media print only what they want to, when they want to, where they want to. The lady in the back has been a real angel to help me. I won't say any names. Good for Tiffany, God bless her and her children and her family. They're Pahoa people. I have a restaurant in Pahoa. I don't make any money because there's no jobs. I'm moving to Hilo so I can make some money. I sell Jewish food. But I want the job of Faye Hanohanos because she's been there 8 years. She's done nothing. God be with you all, and I hope you make the right judgments because God's watching, and so are we. Amen. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Also, for the record, we were emailed public testimony from Lynn Patel regarding resolution number 2012-03. Board members, did you all receive copies? Do we have any other statements from the public? Before we move on. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Up next on the agenda. Mary, you ready? Okay. Up next on the agenda is election of a vice chair. Do we have any nominations from board members? For Bernard? We have a nomination for Bernard as vice chair. Any second? Okay. Any discussion?
I'm willing as long as I only vote.
I didn't hear that.
Try your hardest.
Can you guys use the
Can you use the
microphones,
microphone,
please?
please? What was that last thing you said?
I said that I'm willing to be vice chair as long as it's only vice chair. I do not want to be chair. I'll be vice chair to help out with meetings from time to time when Mr. Dill is not present, but I do not want to be chairperson on a permanent basis.
Okay, we have a motion nominating Bernard as vice chair. Duly noted in the discussion. Just point of information, I was appointed by Mayor Kim and my term is up in December, so that will be an issue that will come up next year. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, moving on. Congratulations, Bernard, as the vice chair. Thank you for your willingness. Item number 4, approval of the regular session minutes on September 12, 2012 Board of Ethics meeting. Board members, have you all had a chance to read and review?
Yeah.
Any comments, changes, amendments, additions, subtractions? I would just like to thank Mary again for an outstanding job. If there are no comments or changes to the minutes, I get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, moving on. Item 5 on the agenda, communication dated 9/4/2012, memorandum. Opinion by the Office of Information Practices regarding sunshine law complaints about agendas and executive meetings. This is pertaining to 2009 Board of Ethics meetings, October and November, I believe. Council, would you like to elaborate a little bit on this communication?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, a complaint was filed regarding this board's agenda at its October 13th meeting, and I'm sorry, October 14th, 2009, and November 19th, 2009. And basically, this is the OIP's response to that complaint, saying that this board did not violate the sunshine law with respect to its agenda when it did not name the county officers and employees on the agenda. Basically, they said your agendas are fine. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And as a point of clarification, for some of the testifiers today, this was expressed their concerns about, I guess, some pending complaints with the Office of Information Practices. This is a separate matter, and as you can tell, this has been 3 years. I'm not sure when it was filed exactly, but it does take them time, as you mentioned in your testimony. But again, to clarify, this is a separate complaint, and then the response pertaining to that complaint. Do we have a motion to accept the file? Any further discussion by board members on this?
No other discussion for myself.
No discussion. Okay. Motion to accept the file?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, moving on to, new business, petition number 2012-04. Initial review of petition alleging that a county officer has been very selective in dissemination of public information and showed preferential treatment to certain reporters, stonewalling others, in violation of section 2-83A3 of the Code of Ethics, that all persons shall be treated in a courteous, fair, and impartial manner. As mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, during announcements, I will be recusing myself from hearing this petition, based upon a letter written as wrote a personal letter to the State Office of the Attorney General dated July 25th, as a result of private citizens coming and expressing their concerns regarding some of the elections issues that had been reported in the media. So I wrote a letter as a private citizen, not on behalf of this board or representing this board in any way. So council, you asked for some clarification from the State Office of Elections as well, because there were allegations made at the last meeting that did in fact rate on county letterhead.
Yes, board members, you were probably provided a copy of the letter that I issued to the State Office of Elections based upon allegations that the chair wrote on county letterhead for a state election office letterhead. And so I did request documents from the State Office of Elections, and they provided the letter that Mr. Gill wrote, not on letterhead, and what I believe is in his personal capacity. So you all should have that. The second item, Mr. Chair, clarification, just for this petition, you all should have before you a letter from Jamaica Kawaguchi stating that she's received a copy of this petition and is unable to attend this meeting this morning due to work commitments. And I did speak with her yesterday, and she advised me of that, and that is also articulated in this letter to you all.
Clarify that, so the respondent is not here. The petitioner is here today. His son, I'll be handing over this petition to the vice chairman, but you're welcome to come up and along with any council. Vice Chair?
You'll be using the other microphone.
Aloha. Good morning, members of the commission. My name is Sandra Song, and I'm representing Tiffany Hunt, who is present with us today.
We have your petition in front of us. The petition was previously read. I know that Jamai Kawachi is not here today. And I'd like to ask the advice of council. Is this something that we should continue when she is present, or shall we hear from Ms. Hunt at this time?
Mr. Chair, this board in the past has proceeded without the presence of the respondent in cases, so you are free to proceed. I did inform Ms. Kawachi what the board would be doing today, what its options are. That this is an initial review, so what the board does is, if the parties are here, it seeks information if it needs. It may dismiss the matter. It may set an informal hearing or a formal hearing. So I think you're free to proceed.
Ms. Hunt, attorney, please proceed if you have any comments about your petition.
Let me begin, and then I'm going to turn this over to Tiffany, my client. We received sort of a lengthy petition from Ms. Hunt.
violations. But I do want to point out that the ethics code puts an obligation on government officials to treat, to act with a certain, in a manner of conduct. And one of the provisions under Section 283 is government officials are supposed to treat the members of the public fairly. And it says, all persons shall be treated in a courteous, fair, and impartial manner. And this applies to officers and employees of the county while discharging their duties. This may put a greater burden on county officers and employees than other members of the general public. And many times, officers and employees of the County of Hawaii may have difficult public to deal with. Nevertheless, under this code of ethics, they have the responsibility to treat everyone in a courteous, fair, and impartial manner. And if it is not done, then this commission has the obligation to issue a formal opinion to the employee supervisor so that the employee will not do that again. And that is one of the options that this commission has. There were numerous statements in Tiffany's petition. I would like to point out one thing in particular. On election morning, Ms. Hunt and Dave Corrigan, who's also a reporter, had an appointment with Janae Kawaguchi at 4 a.m. They're reporters, so they want to report about the election. They had an appointment to meet with her at 4 a.m. regarding the election. They were there outside the county building with the gates locked at 4 a.m. And they were told that she wouldn't meet with them. They waited 2 hours there. And they were finally shown to a media room. But it is not, regardless of what kind of pressures Ms. Kawaguchi might have been under on election day, and I wouldn't doubt that she was under tremendous pressures, she still had an obligation to be courteous, fair, and impartial to Mr. Corrigan and Tiffany. And she was not by making them wait like that and refusing to meet with them. I might also point out that even there was another incident when she had a press conference where only certain reporters were included, not all. If Ms. Kawaguchi is going to be fair and impartial and courteous, then all the media should be notified, not select media. Again, to some people these things might not be significant, but I just want to point out that Ms. Kawaguchi is in a position of authority. She's also required to comply with the requirements of the ethics code. And so it puts her in a more important position, in a more difficult position than members of the public. So under the circumstances, she is not here to defend herself, although she did have an opportunity. She did receive the petition. So I'm asking that, based on the petition, with no opposing statement from Ms. Kawaguchi, that this commission should issue an informal advisory opinion to her supervisor, who I believe is Dominique Ingram, that she should not continue to engage in this kind of conduct. I'm going to turn this over to Tiffany because I think she has some more to say.
Aloha. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to state my opinion. I've covered Hawaii County politics for various media outlets, daily, weekly, monthly, and now in real-time reporting on my website, BigIslandChronicle.com, since 2001. And I have never experienced such blatant, I feel, stonewalling, actually. And the fact that Janae Kawaguchi is not present today when I'm here and ready to look her in the eye and state all of my allegations is symbolic to me. That's another example of how I'm not able to get information or communicate with someone in such a position of authority. Not only is she running the election division, she is also in charge of the county clerk's office, which runs council services, handles the minutes of meetings. If you read my petition, I'm sorry if it wasn't typed out and more PC than it was. It was basically me just finding a moment and sitting down and writing everything out because I had reached a point of exasperation after going to the elections division and being told for the umpteenth time that she wasn't available, she was in a meeting. What I've also encountered is I actually have friends who are in the elections division who I don't wave hi to, so they don't know that that's my friend, but they tell me about what the reaction is when I call. So it's just really very unfortunate that we're at this state right now. To me, it's more on principle than anything that I'm here. And, you know, there were statements made initially about alternative press, new media, all those things. If you want to see my credentials, I'll share them with you. But the bottom line is that I am a journalist in this community. I'm here to stay. Jermaine may not be very familiar with me because I have a 20-month-old baby that most of her term I've spent not covering the county council. But the election is one of my favorite things as a reporter to cover. So it's gotten to be the point where here I am to share with you how difficult it has been to try to cover the campaign, at least from getting an authority's perspective of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do any members of the board here have questions for?
Ms. Hunt, in your complaint, you had written down that Jermaine had to fill up a media notification form. How many times did you submit this form? And what is the form for?
The form, as I said, I've covered the county government since 2001. I've never seen a form like this. The form, it seemed like they had printed it that day. She had called me in for a meeting, and in the meeting was her administrative assistant, Sharon Takata, and Steve Offenbaker, who at this time, I'm not really quite sure what he does at the county, but he has worked as a legislative aide for Dominic Ebong in the past. He was present, and it was on county letterhead, and it said media notification form. And in the meeting, this is in response to the fact that I was objecting that they had a press conference that included select members of the media, very few, and then candidates, which was so odd to me. And there were comments made about how wonderful the food was, and I've just never encountered anything like that. And so I had inquired what was going on, why was there a press conference prior to the official filing of the poll books, or the close of the poll books. And so she said, well, I'll come down and meet with me in person so we can try to resolve this. And then I was handed this media notification form. I've never seen it again, and obviously it wasn't effective. So.
Do you know if all the reporters had to fill that out? And how long prior to the meeting, the press release meeting, was it?
I have polled some of my reporter friends, and they've said that she had them filled out this form as well. But it's not really clear like how many and who has filled out the form. In fact, that would be a great inquiry with the county clerk's office, is to find out whatever happened to those forms, who has them, because anecdotal evidence for me, I have I could bring in Leah Gleason. She's a freelancer for me. She actually had made an appointment with Jamae Kawauchi on primary election day, just like Dave Corrigan and I. She had the 9 o'clock shift and showed up, and Jamae did not show up for her appointment. And what had happened is Brian DeLima and Daryl Smith came to the county building to complain about procedures that were going on election days. Jamae actually came out to the front of the building to greet Brian DeLima, and Leah Gleason intercepted that meeting and was able to meet with her briefly. And Leah said to her, "Oh, can you please, if you let me know updates throughout the day." And Jamae said, "Okay, well, I'm going to need your contact information." And Leah said, "You already had me fill out the media notification form." And she said, "Oh, that was not the right form." So that was actually documented in one of our media reports on election day.
In reviewing the form, Was it a county form or just a form just printed out?
It had the County of Hawaii letterhead.
Mr. Hisashima, I don't think this type of form was required in past administrations. At least I don't know of reporters having to fill out this form.
Thank you. Do you think it's just a one-time form or just to cover up something?
It's curious. Just for the record, I receive updates from the County of Hawaii Mayor's Office, the County Parks and Recreation, just about every other county office. The county clerk's office doesn't really have a record of issuing press releases, but whenever the council chairman has issued a press release, I've been on the media notification list. So the whole thing was very curious.
Thank you.
Mr. Hendricks, do you have any questions? So at this point, does any of the board members have any comments? Or do you think we should go further? It looks like we need to find some information about this form to see if there was fair and equitable treatment. So we would need to obtain some more information, specifically concerning, in my case, or in my thoughts, the fair treatment may come down to being able to evidence this, finding out more about this form to see if it really was used for immediate notification, if it was used properly, or if it was used unfairly. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Chair, I ask the council to, again, I would like to request the following. Media notification of Ms. Hampton, whatever, or whoever reporters that filled it out. Origination date of that form. They should have a file for it. That way it'll be clear that every reporter would have the same opportunity. So I would like to see that. Thank you.
So we will continue this, the next meeting with this information.
Mr. Chair, excuse me.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you either are requesting me to provide you more information, so you're continuing either the initial review of this, or you are setting this matter for informal hearing. So whatever it is the board decides to do, you need a motion for either of those, just so that it's clear that that's the entire board's desire.
In my thinking, I believe that if we have the information regarding this form, we can make a determination at that time whether or not there was fair and impartial treatment to this particular individual from the media.
I move we move this in the formal hearing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So with that, Mr. Chair, then this will be scheduled for your next board meeting next month, and then
That is correct.
do you still want me to provide that information?
Yes, we would need to have that specific information too.
Okay, and I will let Ms. Kawaguchi know
Yes.
the items that you are requesting.
Yes. Are there any other items that, in my reading the petition also, it seemed to narrow it down to that in terms of determining and evidencing unfair treatment.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So with that in mind, we should ask Chairman Dill to return.
The next item would be 7.
recess for 10 minutes?